Well, you're an older brother. I'm an older brother.
Yeah.
The unwritten rule of older brothers is I can beat my little brothers and sisters. You can't.
Absolutely not. That's right.
That's right. Now, I don't care what he did.
Yep. Right.
He probably deserves a beating.
That's right.
and if he does, I'll give it to him.
Sure. That's right.
Three boys?
Yes, sir. 3 boys.
Cool thing about having boys is you can do whatever you want to and tell your wife is for the kids.
That's right.
I don't even like golf. Boy loves it.
No, they're the best. It's constant chaos.
Oh, well,
that's
Lord.
for sure.
But see, we had twins. We had 2 boys.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Right on.
But the interesting thing about twins is there's a third entity. There's Chris and there's Craig, and then there's the boys.
Oh, I believe that.
Which is an entity that only happens when they're together.
Yeah, I believe that.
There's a different energy. There's a different attitude.
Yes. That
you only see when they're together. So Jeannie and I had a code. Well, what happened? Well, the boys. Well, okay, that explained it.
That's amazing. ... Say no more. Right. I get it.
The boys.
So good.
So with that. So now you've been at the Bridge 4 years.
Yes, sir.
What we love to do is talk about church, local church ministry, how you do it in your expression, and how you're doing it, particularly in Middle Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
the ECN is focused on the Middle Tennessee thing. So you're in Chicago, you got a successful ministry, and all of a sudden you get a call from the Bridge.
Yeah.
Now now is the Bridge? Is it in Thompson Station, Spring Hill, or is it in Franklin?
Spring Hill and Columbia.
Yeah. Okay, but Spring Hill is
that's the first campus.
That was the first campus,
yes,
the campus that I would be most familiar with. So you get a call from Spring Hill, Tennessee, and you're going, what?
Yeah, that's exactly my reaction. I got an email from a guy named Stone, which at first I was like, well, that's not even a real name.
Right.
So I don't know what this is. And Stone, I love Stone to death. Knowing him better now, this initial email makes sense. He's like, hey, you don't know me from Adam? We came across a sermon clip of yours randomly. Here's who we are. Any interest? And I just wrote back, man, I'm super flattered, really honored. Hard pass. Like we're not.
Yeah.
I'm from Detroit. My wife's from Chicago. I'm just a Midwest boy. We were loving the church we were at. I had a radio show at the time. Like that's where Katie's family is from. And Stone was very gracious. He said, totally get it. But we're going to be in your neck of the woods in a couple of weeks. Would love to grab coffee and talk shop if you got time. And I'm so naive to this stuff. I was like, yeah, I love coffee. Let's hang out. And then apparently that's when they bought their tickets. Flew up to Chicago and
everybody's standing around.
I had no clue. I just have no savvy when it comes to that stuff. So that's how that conversation began with the Bridge.
What attracted you?
Oh man, so much. When they flew up, we had coffee and they said, hey, can we at least fly you and your wife down just to spend a weekend with us? And we just had a baby. So it was sort of like
a free vacation.
Honestly, I'm not proud of that, man, but like a chance to get out of the house.
That's exactly
right.
All right,
you got it. So we flew down and
the Lord works in all kinds of ways.
No kidding, man. Well, and we honestly, this will sound cliche, we were blown away by the people. Lots of churches have good music and good preaching and cool facilities. We were blown away by the people. There was like not just a welcome, but like a humility, a genuine hunger that I just hadn't experienced, to the point where, Katie and I would drive back to the hotel after, a conversation with the search team. And both of us were like, I think we need to talk about this. I think we need to consider this more than we were planning on it, which is pretty unnerving because we came down to sort of politely tell them no.
Right. Yeah. Just a couple of nights in a hotel.
That's right.
Away from everybody else is grabbing hands and all that.
That's it. Well, and that was in February of 2020.
Yeah. Right.
So if you're playing along at home, a couple of things happened a few weeks after our first visit. Yeah. So that then turned into like a year-long interview process. We actually parted ways twice in sort of what became a Zoom dialogue back and forth. And it's a much longer story. But
Zoom killed a lot of things.
You're telling me. Well, and trying to like get to know a culture and a people and answer theological questions and trying to discern. And so we had parted ways officially. And then I got a call and said, hey, hope this isn't awkward, but we have 2 staff members who have been filling pulpit for a while still doing their other jobs. Any chance you could come down and just be a guest preacher for one of these weekends? And so, again, we were in full COVID in Chicago. Right. We drove down, did a guest taught, and then I did a training with the staff the next day. Mm-hmm. And then we continued on our little family road trip. And when we get back, I got a call. They said, hey, we've already put it to a vote, and the elders are unanimous, and there's a job offer in your inbox. Let us know what you think. Which, again, was a shock to me because I didn't know
that's right, yeah.
that was an audition.
I would have preached a better sermon.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have one when I know
the pressure was off. Yeah. I thought I was just hanging out with friends. No, I had no clue. So that was surprising. And Katie and I, again, had to really kind of pray and fast and discern.
Now, we talk a lot about alignment, who the pastor is, the pastor's giftedness, the church's vision and mission, and how all of that has to sync up. Yeah. For everything to kind of work, like Jupiter and Mars lining up, and you get this big star. And when that happens, then some good things can happen in a local church community. So talk to me about the time when you said, "Okay, I'm beginning to see this church lines up with who I am, or this church lines up with the vision of my own ministry." Yeah. Not so much when you went in with the staff and said, "Hey, here's how we," but I'm talking about that soul moment when you said, "Okay, we're sinking here."
That's a great question. I've never had this thought before this moment. My brother's a chiropractor, and so he works on alignment.
Right, yeah.
10 hours a day. And what he will tell you is no one is like just one crack away from perfect alignment. Right. There's all sorts of work outside of the clinic, outside of the office to maintain like a body that's in alignment. That has been my experience in church world. It's not, we all went to one summit and we all got the key phrase or the stars aligned. It's actually it's way more of a dance than just, we've arrived at alignment. Now it's all systems go. I think, so the Bridge, when we started, to their credit, was so ready for change, for new vision. When I got here, they were like, change whatever you want. Change the name of the church if you want. And I was like, I don't know where my office is yet. Like, hold on, let me figure that out.
And you also had the pressure of following one of the great preachers in the United States.
Absolutely.
I mean, Josh.
Absolutely. Massive.
Josh is known for it to be a master pulpiteer. And I don't say that flippantly.
Absolutely. And there was a 2-year gap between he and I, which I actually think was really helpful, because it helped, I think, the church figure out who they wanted to be going forward.
COVID erased everything.
Of course.
COVID just erased everything.
Which I will say, we've had some great leaders out to pour into our staff, like Katie Cole and Brad Lomenick, and they have, independent of each other, said that it takes a new leader about 3 to 5 years to really begin to feel like, now we're clicking, like
every church has to ordain you.
Yeah, right. That's right.
And I tell people, just because you drove up doesn't mean you're the pastor.
That's exactly right. I wish more young pastors realized that too.
The church has to watch and withhold judgment until they see you under pressure.
Totally. Well, and honestly,
then they will let you know.
That's right.
And say, okay,
they do. For or against, to be honest.
Exactly right.
And when I started, to the church's credit, I think a lot of people like treaded water for 2 years to see who they were going to hire, gave me a fair shake, and in all fairness said, "Hey, nothing personal. You're not my cup of tea."
That's exactly right.
To which I will often say, I get it. I'm not my own cup of tea half the time.
That's okay.
I get it, which is why this is sort of a roundabout answer to your question, but I spent probably the first 6 months almost exclusively trying to get coffee and lunches with other local church pastors. It was really important for me to send a message like, hey, we're on the same team. If you're preaching the gospel, like, we're not competition. Yeah. So that when someone told me, hey, no offense, but we want something smaller or a little more of this or a little more of that. If someone said, hey, we're going over to this church, I could say, I just had coffee with him
know
last
that
week.
man.
Let me text
I
him
know
right
him.
now.
He's a
Y'all are going to
good
love
dude.
that church.
Good
It just
dude.
diffused this the competition, us versus them.
I used to tell them, hey, let me tell you about this other church I think you'll like.
Yes.
We all work for the same boss.
That's right. 100%. Which I feel like can sometimes fall into the category of cliche, but I think is really important when communities and congregants see pastors, swap pulpits and share event leadership and pray for one another. We'll brag on other churches in our services.
Yeah.
Like, man, so-and-so just got a new building, or they just baptized X number of people. That's really important to me. And so I think that at the onset was really helpful. But where I really feel like we started to click, as leadership, particularly with our elders, we've been praying about what is sort of the unique vision that we believe God has given us.
Right.
And maybe 3 years ago, the Lord began kind of working in my heart with this image of the table, looking at the ministry of Jesus and how much time he spent at the table with people in sort of this digital distracted age. Jesus seems committed to the ministry of presence. And so I began sharing this idea of the table, of everyday disciples with our elders, which of course, the first time I articulated it, they all kind of looked at me and scratched their heads like, what are you talking about? That's not a vision. And then the more that we prayed and discerned, I saw them go from confused to reluctant to receptive to agreeable to all in, to the point where I'm getting texts from elders saying man, I think the table is how the Lord's going to use me for the next 15 years. So,
exactly right.
So our vision at the bridge.
The interesting thing is, a friend of mine said that of all the things that Jesus could have left us, he left us the table.
Yeah, that's right. Like a meal. Hours before his arrest and crucifixion.
That's right.
He's not performing one more miracle, not giving one more sermon.
And the hours after the resurrection, the first thing he did was have the meal.
That's exactly right. You could argue the first command in all the scripture is eat freely, and the last statement in Revelation is drink freely, and everything in between is a table. And it's been really beautiful to see our church kind of grab hold of that. The full vision for us is bringing the gospel to every table and helping people imagine that's not just a dining room table. That's a conference table. That's a chess table. That's whatever tables, whatever spaces you occupy. This is Ephesians 4. My work as a pastor is not to do all the work in ministry. Right. It's to equip the saints for the work in ministry.
The heresy of the comma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
King James puts the comma in there, and it's not in the Greek.
Exactly right. So, exactly right. And it's been cool to see our community really latch onto that and to see themselves as, I'm a sent person in the same way that Pastor Ian is, in the same way that a missionary is, wherever God has me.
We tell people that the first Reformation gave the Bible back to the people. The second Reformation that we're in now is giving ministry back to the people.
That's so good. I'm seeing it 100%.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, in my new role, since I've stepped down from the senior leadership at Brentwood, I go to a lot of different churches. I talk to a lot of different friends, different contexts. Most church members are bored out of their minds.
Yeah, I agree.
They do amazing things all week, and we want them to come sit.
That's right. And I'm saying that I agree with you, and I'm saying that as a teacher. I love to preach and teach.
I do. Well, I do too. But the thing is, because that's the way we have defined ministry, we have people showing up on Sunday morning, sitting in the back pew, folding their arm like Russian Olympic judges, going, do worship. You do worship.
And it better be a song I like.
9-4, 9-3. And we'll judge you whether I got anything out of it.
Yeah, right.
Rather than coming to the bridge going, Ian, let me tell you what I saw God do this past week.
That's right.
Help me worship. Give me some kind of framework. Give me some kind of something, but I'm going to bring worship on my own.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we talk about Sundays as the push, not the point.
Right.
And that is, I love the gathered body. Right. I love Sundays, my favorite day of the week for that reason. However, if we're saying, man, the culmination of the Christian life of bringing heaven to earth here and now is what we do 70 minutes on a Sunday, I think that is woefully inadequate of the vision that we're given in the New Testament of people living sent wherever they live, work, and play. And what's really cool is that it is enlivening people to actually see like impact in their neighborhoods. Like, oh, is this what you've been talking about? Yeah, I'll take more of that, please. Like it is not, oh, you need to be more like me or particular, growing a particular skill that looks like standing on a stage.
Right.
you have unique gifts and abilities and networks. I believe that you're there on purpose for a purpose. And so it's not just, hey, can you try and shoehorn mission into an already busy life. It's actually seeing your entire life through a gospel lens. How do I live life missionally? And that shift, I think, has been really, really cool.
Yeah, I spoke to a church staff the other day, and I looked at them and I said, here's my problem, and here's what I think you got wrong. I said, I'm looking at your staff titles, senior pastor, associate pastor, pastor to children, pastor to a bunch of stuff. I said, you need to drop all that. Every one of you is a missionary.
That's right.
And this idea that now we are chaplains to the status quo.
Yeah, right.
That's gone.
Yes.
And you have to look at your community the same way that a missionary, if we threw a missionary out of an airplane and said, hey, start it.
That's
it's
right.
The same kind of thing.
That's right.
And everybody going, well, the church in North America, we've been doing this a couple of thousand years.
You're right.
This is not new. We've been doing this. We can do this now.
That's right.
What excites you?
Oh, man. Everything we just talked about. Honestly, I'm thinking of a conversation I had with a lady. We had first started talking about the table and what that actually means. And she works graveyard shift at a gas station. And she came up to me on a Sunday with tears in her eyes talking about how she had shared Jesus with a young man at 2 a.m. and led him to the Lord and how he's being baptized 2 weeks from now. Right. And she just kept saying, is that my table? Is that what you've been saying? I'm like, that you got? I didn't picture a gas station counter when I first started teaching about it. So like people, I as much as I love preaching, I really do enjoy the craft. I love the study. I love honing that skill. It doesn't hold a candle to watching real-time transformation in real people and to see them carry it out.
When I used to tell the churches, I'm looking for the day when I walk out here and you come up and say, listen, I know it's time to preach, but can I tell the church and there are so many of you with so many stories that I don't get to preach.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Never happened, but
no kidding.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I remember even in COVID, people would make comments like, oh, I bet you really missed the stage. Do you miss the stage? And I thought about that, and I said, I do. I don't want to pretend that I don't, but I actually miss the lobby a lot more.
Yeah.
The lobby where you are hearing the stories of transformation, not just in the macro, but in the micro, and hearing about real lived experiences. This is why I think it's dangerous when particularly young leaders get into ministry simply to build a platform or to build an online.
Right.
I'm like, there are other ways to do that. If that's what you want to do, go for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
The church is rooted in a locale, like an actual gathered people, an ecclesia. And I think the more that you distance yourself from those actual stories, and that includes struggle, I think it needs to be both and.
But here's what bothers me. There seems to be this cottage industry of slamming the church, of this church. And listen, when you open the door and don't charge admission, this is what happens.
Yeah, right.
If you want to raise the entrance fee, and then you'd have a different idea. But I have a lot of good friends who are brothers that I'd take a bullet for, and they would take, and I know that, and they've been there for me, and I love these guys to death. As much as I love those guys, there's not one of them I can say your wife's ugly.
Sure.
That would be a relationship killer.
Yes.
Okay.
And rightfully so.
There are lines you don't, but we tell that to Jesus all the time.
Wow. That's convicting.
Love you, Jesus, but this bride you have is ugly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What I wonder too, and that is such a tightrope.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes the error on the other side is that you can never critique, never criticize, that any brokenness or abuse or scandal, we sweep under the rug and say, hey, it's the bride of Christ. It is.
We're not talking about
that's right.
The defending criminal behavior or anything like that. But we're talking about a commitment to the best life of the church.
I think commitment is the key word. Yeah. I really do think Francis Schaeffer said that Christian community is the final apologetic.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really compelling idea, that when you look at 12 people gathered in a living room, breaking bread and studying scripture, on the outside you go, what do these 12 people have in common? They could not be more different politically, socioeconomically. Why in the world would they commit to gathering every Thursday night other than something profound spiritually is happening in their midst? And I think that's interesting.
I'm in a Bible study. Long story about how I got into this Bible study. I'm at lunch with a young friend of mine. He's an entrepreneur and all that. So we're doing this big small group push. And
Yeah.
I said, what group are you in? He said, I'm not in a group. Hate groups. Not ever going to be in a group. I said, well, I hate groups too. I would rather study scripture by myself, and I like the solitude. And I said, I tell you what, call your friends. I'll do the group. He said, why would you do the group? I said, I got to be in a group. And if I don't get in a group, they're going to put me in a group of people I don't like.
Yes, sure. Always happens.
No, I don't want that. So, but he says, okay. And normally, I'll get the group up and running 6 months to a year, and then I'll transfer the leadership and I'll do something else. This is 5 years.
No kidding.
5
You're
years.
stuck with them now.
Yeah. And now we have crossed a couple of lines in our relationship with each other.
Yes.
That I told the guy that pulled the group together, I said, this group will never break up now. That this group will stay together in some form or fashion.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
From now on, because of what's happened. And and now we have a couple of African Americans in this group. And the discussion that happened around the Charlie Kirk incident, from their perspective and from some young conservatives, and but the trust of that conversation.
That's right.
Nobody was defensive, nobody was offensive, nobody, and it was, I didn't know that. Explain that to me. Well, here's what. And then this morning, a couple of them were talking about they had gone back into their offices, and with other African Americans that they work with had the opportunity to have this conversation, and they said we were ready for that conversation because of the conversation we had here.
Yes.
Because it was like having an older brother teach you something.
That's right. Rather
than being confronted.
That's beautiful.
With that. It's and the thing is, it's scriptural. This is the way life happens. It's in this give and take of togetherness. It's around a table.
That's right.
It's being all focused on Christ through our different experiences, and then it works.
Right. What a novel idea!
And you walk out going, "That's amazing. That's it works.
Who knew? What a novel idea!
Who knew?
I do think that is stories like that give me goosebumps because it's you can't replicate that in an online debate in the comment section where people are just making a series of declarations back and forth and calling it conversation. It's not. I'm not anti-social media. I'm not anti-technology. I just think there's no replication, and I think we're going to see this more in the next 5 years with the rise of AI. More and more people are going to crave the only thing I can tell is real is you sitting right here.
Because you can't trust it.
Can't trust anything else, and that's only going to be exacerbated. And so what you're modeling with your group is, hey, we may disagree politically, socially, even at times theologically, but man, I care about you and your welfare, and that we've now spent enough time that your equity and my equity is connected.
You're an older brother. I'm an older brother.
Yeah.
The unwritten rule of older brothers is I can beat my little brothers and sisters. You can't.
Absolutely not. That's right.
That's right. Now, I don't care what he did.
Yep. Right.
He probably deserves a beating.
That's right.
and if he does, I'll give it to him.
Sure. That's right. So all my siblings got bigger than me pretty quick. So that was a short-lived window for me.
Right?
Yeah, very short.
Yeah. So, what we say to the world is, hey, I understand. But you're not going to pick up my little brother.
I do think that's really, I think it was Eugene Peterson who said something like I am not myself by myself. There is no maturity in the Christian faith apart from the other. When C.S. Lewis writes, he wrote a brilliant book on friendship called The Four Loves.
Right.
And he tells a story about his group, the Inklings, with him and Charles Williams and Tolkien. And he mentions how when Charles died, that he thought that he would get more of his friend Tolkien because now it was just the two of them.
That's right.
And he found he's like, I actually got less of him because there was a side of him that only came alive around Charles, the kind of joke that he would make or the comments he would make. And I think that is such a beautiful picture of Christian community, that there's a part of you that is like unlocked when you choose to be vulnerable, when we just talked about this last week, when you actually confess something.
When it is safe.
When it's safe, exactly. Exactly right. Everyone's longing for that.
Well, and everybody knows what a loser you are.
Right. All the skeletons. It's all to drag them
all
out.
the things. So somebody will walk in and go, "I'm so and so." He said, "Well, we know that you didn't call the meeting just for that, did you?"
Right. It's a gift, though.
Tell me something we
It's
don't
a
know
gift.
about you.
I can think of numerous times where somebody has shared something with me, and you can tell that they're like bracing for condemnation,
Yeah.
or shame,
Yeah.
and to be met with grace,
Yeah.
and mercy, and sometimes a tough word, sometimes accountability, but there's just nothing like it when you're bracing for worst case scenario, and it's like,
Right.
oh man, we all fall short. We're actually going to walk with you
But
toward
that
healing.
only comes in the context of a trusted relationship.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring out something that's causing me great pain. I'm taking the risk of you judging me on it.
That's right.
But because of the safety of the relationship, I'm at least doing this.
Totally.
So, yeah.
This is honestly, this is a bit of a hobby horse for me. This is why I'm so like the Bible doesn't hide the stories of grief,
No.
and sorrow and pain. And if the Bible doesn't hide those
and
stories,
failure.
exactly
And
right.
failure, yeah.
So if the Bible doesn't hide those stories, maybe we don't have to either.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I think you're spot on. It often takes one person to go first.
Right.
The going first is objectively terrifying,
Right.
but it actually unlocks the door for everyone else's vulnerability.
Well, everybody says, "Well, Mike, you're wise," and they say, "I said, you know what? Wisdom means I screwed up before you did." That's all wisdom
That's
is.
a good definition. No one's calling me wise yet, but I have a lot of screw ups in my past.
You got to get a little more gray hair, then you can get away with that crap. So,
Love it.
I made that mistake.
Yeah,
Here's
for
a
sure.
star.
For sure.
I don't advise you do that.
That's right. That's right.
What keeps you up at night?
Oh man. There's a lot that keeps me up at night. You know, I got 3 young boys, so I think a lot about them, 7, 6, and 3. I think a lot about, I'll tell our staff a lot. Hey, if you're winning here, but you're losing at home, you're losing. Like that notion of I have a lot of innate kind of workaholism in me. That's just sort of my gear, productivity, achievement, often at the detriment of more important things. So I'm very, very grateful to have a wife that kind of helps, keep those things in check. I actually said this to our church a few weeks ago. It's funny that you phrase it that way. One of the things that keeps me awake at night as a pastor is that so many of us are not living nearly as free as we actually are. Like people that I believe have prayed a prayer and genuinely surrendered to Jesus and
Right.
still living in bondage. And I think that is honestly, as a pastor, one of the things that grieves me the most is like, man, you think like checking a box on a Sunday is all there is to this, and you're still living with this old script, this old narrative, these old hangups and habits, and that stuff keeps me up at night. It really does.
Yeah, my story is along those lines was several years ago. The Lord invited me to a deeper prayer life, pure invitation, no guilt, just I want you to come deeper. And I said no, no. And here's why: I've made 1 million promises to you. I have kept none of them. It's embarrassing to me. It's got to be embarrassing to you. So let's just cut to the chase and say I'm doing about as well as Mike's going to do. And I want to do more and all that. So honestly, there was this kind of discussion that went on in my prayer time. Finally, I decided, I got the invitation, do it for 30 days. So do it for 1 month.
You're like, I can handle that.
Okay. All right, I can stay on my head for 30 days. Okay, I'll do that. So for 20-something years now, I've been making a 30-day commitment.
Let's go. That's so good.
To a deeper prayer life.
That's so good.
So at the end of next week, it's October 1, I'll re-up.
I love that.
I'm firmly committed to October 31.
You said how long has it been?
20-something years.
No kidding.
See, I can't do forever. I can't do
I don't think most people can, to be honest.
I can do 30 days.
I know.
Now, here's the thing that happened out of that. My marriage exploded. And I tell husbands, until you sit with the Lord who created her, you don't know her.
That's a good word.
He will tell you things about her.
Yes.
I promise you he will.
Yes.
That only the one who makes her knows. Okay? Now, I tell people, if you had asked me, I would have told you I have a 10. My marriage is a 10. I had no idea God had more numbers.
Wow.
Okay? I was going, I've got a 10, and Jesus was feeling sorry for me.
Like, that's it?
I got a 10. I got a 38 over here.
Wow.
And if I give you 112, it's going to blow your mind.
That's right. That's right.
But you're not living
yes.
in the fullness of what I'm inviting you to do.
That's right. The fullness. Yes, abundant.
Yeah.
More than you could ask or imagine. That is I think a lot of the John 15 abiding in the vine. How does a branch grow great grapes? By like trying really hard, or by abiding in the vine? And that's the kicker.
That's the kicker.
I meet people all the time like, oh, I want a deeper prayer life, or I want more humility, or I want more. I'm like, the aim is intimacy with Jesus. The byproduct of which is intimacy, humility, fruit of the Spirit stuff. But when we aim at the thing and miss Jesus, I think we miss the whole thing. To your point, man, my commitment to abide in the vine actually had implications in my marriage,
exactly
and with my kids, and at my job, and in my neighborhood. It changes how I see resources and recreation. It's all that's what the abundant life is about. And I feel like a lot of us have settled for. Yeah, I think of what was the movie Spinal Tap?
Yeah,
all the knobs go to 11 in the kingdom, and we're like settling for like 6 or 7. I guess that's loud enough. Like, oh man,
turn it up to 11.
The abundant, turn it up to 11. Let's go.
So, what do you want to see at the bridge next 2 or 3 years?
Oh, great question. Honestly, it is pretty back to the basics. I just want to see a community of people who see themselves as everyday missionaries, equipped and sent wherever they live.
You know, that we're finding that, and the walking around that I get to do now, we're finding out that it is the simpler. Okay. Simple doesn't mean easy.
That's right.
Simple means without complication. That churches are going to a more simple. We do these 2 or 3 things.
Yep.
And the rest you do.
That's right.
You work out. If that's important to you, you work it out.
That's right.
But it's not up to the church to have a youth basketball league.
Yeah, right.
Okay? If that's something that you feel passionate about, that you think will impact, then go for it. But we're not going to give church resources, church time to that. We're not going to stand up on Sunday morning and announce the youth basketball league.
That's right.
But what happens is all of these things, when your laity are free to seek the uniqueness to which Jesus has called them, then the church explodes.
That's exactly right.
And you end up with, we have this triangle that we always talk about. It's worship. Everything we do is in response to Jesus' encounter with us. Everybody says, well, I found Jesus. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't lost. All right, that drives you to discipleship. I've got to know more about this God I've encountered. But if that's all you have, then you have legalism.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Worship, discipleship then drives you to mission because God is always looking for that one, even the 99.
Yes.
And if you want to be close to Jesus, then that means you're going to leave the 99 too and go find the one.
That's exactly right.
So there's mission, which drives you back to worship because I've seen God do things, which drives you back to discipleship because I've got to know more if I'm going to do more.
Yes.
So that worship, discipleship, mission triangle is constantly reinforcing itself.
This is like we shared notes.
Yeah, well,
that's exactly how we organize.
And that is, and it is that simple.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Which means you're not called to be at church. Several years ago at Brentwood Baptist Church, we did a survey, an analysis, and we found out we were the most hostile group to families.
No kidding.
In church, in the community.
No kidding.
Well, we wanted mom and dad up here on Sunday night. We wanted kids up here on Monday night. We wanted children up here on Wednesday night.
Wow.
And the whole time I'm at the pulpit going, parents, you are the disciples of your children. And they're going, when? The only time we're with our kids is when we're in a car coming to church. Wow.
Good for you to even receive that data, though.
So
right?
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was
I've had a few of those. Yeah. So they tell you exactly what you're doing.
So we kind of slid it over to the side and changed everything, and quit. If that's important to you, then there are ways to make that happen. But we're not going to be requiring it of anybody.
No kidding. Good for you.
So So
it's very interesting that you use that language too, because so our mission at the Bridge is to be with Jesus and become like him for the sake of the world. And so the categories that we use are presence, formation, and mission.
Right.
And obviously everyone's going to have a bent. You have people that are more kind of missionally minded and other people that are more presence minded. But I'll bring it back to Matthew 4 when Jesus simply says, "Follow me," which is the presence piece. Come be with me, and I will make you. So there's a formation piece. I'm gonna chisel some stuff away that doesn't belong. Fishers of men. You're going to be, as the Father has sent me, I'm sending you. And so we're always ours is more of a Venn diagram. How are we keeping in tension?
Right.
Presence, formation, and mission. There'll be seasons where one is maybe heavier than the other, but we're always trying to keep that in tension. If we're all presence and formation, but we lose mission, we're just going to become a holy huddle. But if we're all mission, but we don't know how to abide in the vine, that's a recipe for burnout.
Well, burnout and the worst case of the social gospel.
That's right.
But
you keep them all in tandem, in tension. And I think that is what is so compelling to me in this season is because a lot of times when we talk about mission, people will say, I think I need to mature a little more first before I live on mission. And I'll say, what if I told you that one of the main vehicles by which God grows us
is mission,
is obedience, is mission, is actually just living it out.
You don't know how to change a tire until you change a tire.
That's it.
There are some things you learn only in obedience.
Which is terrifying. First time I changed a tire was legitimately frightening. But I had a father that was there. That was apprenticing me. That was showing me the way. That's why I think the shared ministry of the body is so important. Is because you have people who are like, hey, young buck, I've been doing this a couple decades. Come with me. Right. Join me in living on mission, so I can show you a bit of how it's actually done. It's like
and
such
how
an invitation.
important that is for mature men. To circle back and find those young men, for mature women
100%.
To circle back, and even for 12th graders, high schoolers to circle back and get the middle school.
Absolutely.
And that ministry.
Yes.
One of the great things about being in Middle Tennessee is there are a lot of great churches. The Bridge in Spring Hill is one of them. This is Ian Simpkins. He is the pastor of the Bridge. And if you're in that neck of the woods looking for a church home, Ian and the Bridge would be worth a visit. I'm Mike Glenn. This is the podcast for the Engaged Church Network. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for tuning in to the Engaged Church Network podcast. We exist to train healthy and skilled leaders for congregations throughout Middle Tennessee. If today's episode helped you, share it with a fellow leader. And don't forget to visit engagedchurchnetwork.com for more ways to grow.